All right, so some of the videos that you've seen, especially with the larger shows that we do, we use communication headsets between front house and monitors. We keep our comms unit in its own case, and as you'll notice here, just real quick, you can tell all the holes here in this. This is actually a microphone case, but it has done very well supporting the communications headset and all the gear for it. So this is what we use, and I'm going to take it out, take it apart, and get something set up so you can see how it works. Okay, there's a few components to a communications headset, and so this is a very basic one. We have 3 stations, meaning a station is a headset itself. We have 1, there's 2. I'm only going to use 2 in the example, but we have a 3rd headset as well. Each headset has its own belt pack on it, which is used to communicate with the other headsets. And what else we got here? We've got a control unit. It's got 3 connections into it, so we know that this is a 3-party, if you will, 3-party headset, or a communication headset. And we've got basically a power supply. It works through the snake. So in front of house, we would connect into the snake, and then at monitors, there'd be an exact same type of setup. Now, because it's a 3 headset, we could also add another location into it. So it'd be front of house, we could do monitors, we could do stage management, or we could do lighting. However we want to use those 3 locations. And with these, once you turn on the mic, you can talk to anybody, and anybody can talk to you. All of this at the same time. So this is not like a radio where you push a button and you talk and then you release, waiting to have somebody come back. You can talk to somebody and they can talk to you just like a conversation. There's no delay, and there's no other really pushing of buttons to constantly talk. Now, many years ago, we used these. These work okay for certain situations, but definitely not for live sound events. They don't get loud enough. You can't really hear anybody on them, and when you talk, a lot of times it comes out distorted. So we started out with these, and I'm glad we did, because we realized these don't actually work for what we do. So we had to make the investment and move to the comms. The setup, the 3-station setup, not including these strobes here, which I'll explain, but a 3 headset setup, this probably cost us maybe $1,000, and this was probably 7 years ago. I think we've had these for maybe 7 years, but well worth the expense. Okay, which is not part of the intercom setup are these cables. These are the interconnect cables that we use to connect from the snake into a communication headset. And these are yellow because we want the people to see them. Because when we're on the stage, there we go, we're on the stage moving around, we don't want the cables to be black. We want the performers, any kind of staff that's out there, anybody, we want them to see the cables. This is the reason why they are yellow. And during loadout, when we're pulling cables, we don't want people, even the volunteers, pulling a whole bunch of black cables, thinking they're pulling like microphone cables or a snake cable. All right, so let's get a little communication kind of thing set up here, and I'll try to explain it as we go along here. All right, so we're going to connect in our power supply. I'm going to try to keep, there really isn't enough room here to do this. this, so I'm going to try to keep everything sort of separated how it would be if we were to see it on a stage. Okay, power supply is connected, and then we're going to connect it into the interface unit. And this is what's going to connect, all the headsets are going to connect into it. Now normally we have this control unit sitting at the monitor location. It's just easier that way, because then from there we can connect the headsets from front of house through the snake into here, and then the monitor headset will plug directly into this box, which also we don't need to go through the snake. Now let's say that we have our monitor location, and these pins here, this is actually I don't know if you can see that or not, a 4-pin type of connector. This goes into a belt pack right here in the center. And all these belt packs are actually going to be powered from this device here. All right, so let's say that over here, this is our monitor location. And I don't have any short cables. You have to, please pardon the potential XLR mess here on the stage. I'm going to try to control how much is coming out here. I could have had this whole thing set up for you, but I think you may be potentially missing out on on some things, not seeing the whole thing go together. Okay, so here we're going to plug in 2. There's 1. So now what we're going to do is we're going to connect our power into the unit. So now on the back, we've got the headset connected to it, and we have power. So if I push that, you can see that, hopefully you can see that red light come on. Let's see here. Yeah. When I push that, what that's doing, that's calling it's calling all the stations that are connected to this unit here. The person at the other end is seeing the same thing show up on their light. When I do that, they're going to see a red light pop up. But when there's a lot of stuff going on, either at monitors or monitors or front of house, you're probably not going to see this little bitty red light show up, which is why we have the strobe. So let's introduce the strobe into the mix. And a strobe tells, just like the belt packs there, the strobe does take up power just like the belt pack. So got to make sure that your power supply can handle the load of strobes and belt packs. So what do we got? We're coming out of here, we're going into here. All right, so let's get our other, let me get a shorter cable here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the strobe in between. Okay, we come out of the strobe, and then we come right back into our setup. All right, so I'm going to, let's say this is the monitor location we're going to call front of house. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to push this signal button, but it's going to pass the signal into the strobe. So we're going to see the strobe light up here. Even though we're at monitors, we're still going to see a strobe light up, and I'll set up the front of house location so you can see it as well. And hopefully the strobe will come through on the video. So I push that. Yeah, I can tell you right now, there's looking at the camera, there's a bit of a timing issue because the strobe is very fast. Because it's flashing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it flashes 6 times, but I think you only saw a few of them on there. So that's how that works. All right, so let's say this is all our monitor section here. And let's get our front of house location set up. All right, so let's say that because all this stuff works through the snake, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect into one of the other 3 ports here. And let's say this is the snake connection. So we got a cable coming out of here. It's going to go into the snake. It's going to go through the snake 150 feet, and it's going to terminate at front of house location. There we go. So it's coming through the snake, and it comes out of front of house, and we've got it, first place it's going to stop at is the strobe, because we want the strobe to turn on so we can see what's going on. Well, not really what's going on, but for us to be to pick up on the intercom. All right, and okay. So then here is our front of house location, and this headset would be connected into it as well. All right, so the same thing here at front of house. If I want to contact monitors, all I gotta do is push this button here. And you can tell the red light comes on here, and then the strobe comes on over here. Then what happens is that whoever's on monitors will pick up, and when we pick up, what we do, we're going to turn the mic on, and then over here, whoever's at front of house, they're going to have their mic on as well. Now, during the whole conversation, they can leave these mics on, and they control their volume, how loud they want to hear who they're talking to. Like with a lot of things, because there's power and stuff going through here, and there's amplifiers in here. For this, when we're done talking, we always turn the mic off. Mics always go off. Okay, and this is just a very basic setup to show you how it works. And the yellow cords that I mentioned are the ones that would actually, when we're doing a show, our yellow cords come in here, and they connect into, they'll connect into the strobe. So the yellow cords are just there to alert people what's going on. Now on these, the belt packs, we can actually carry them on our belt. These are usually sitting, I want to say maybe more forward on the console, just so we can get to them, we can get to the mic. And the strobes are actually sitting, let's see here. The strobes are actually sitting like on the console. So when you're mixing and stuff, it's easy to see this yellow light flashing than it is to be looking for a small red light. I mean, that's why we went with the strobes. All right, hope this helps. Hope this enlightened you to our comm system, what we use. And really, if you're doing larger shows, if you find yourself running back and forth, talking to somebody at the stage or the monitors, it's time for a communication system. Okay, and on the topic here of the headsets, this is basically what they are. It's got one earpiece on it. It's got a mic on it. These actually sound really good. The mic can be moved around as needed. When we're done talking, if we want to, we can just move it out of the way, keep the headset on. So on this system here, a pro-intercom system, it's compatible with ClearCom, which ClearCom is a big player in communication systems. But when I was pricing the ClearCom systems, it was just, for me, for the size of our company, it was way too expensive. So we ended up with the pro-intercom system, pro-intercom, which has been a phenomenal choice for us. On the larger shows, it cuts down on so many issues being able to communicate back and forth between front of house and monitors. We can resolve so many issues. We can work on getting bands set up instead of yelling back and forth between the stage and front of house, which that's okay to do. It really depends on, I think, how far out front of house is. But the communication systems will greatly reduce that type of overhead of having to yell and maybe guess what's going on up on the stage. All right, thanks for watching.